I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity, project I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will, got the dark matter token going up, I can tell. Hey, I can tell, just the start of something fresh. Shout out Hex Revision and Dawn the Hex, yes. I confess, Hexicans don't stress, cause as a community we one up. So tell me, are you in, or tell me, are you out? Do you want to win, or do you chase the clout? What is this really about? The treasury and lottery. If you meant dark tokens, you can get a part of it. So how does it work? Let me explain. First you buy the dark token, now you're in the game. Then you mint the dark and get a fuel cell. That's an NFT, one that earns yield. As long as you have it, it feels like magic. But if you vaporize the NFT, that's tragic. So most think crypto is a game. Are you here for the fame or here to make a name? See, Hexicans reign, we create our own lane. I thought I told you we the new financial gain. AGProject.io with the flow. And if you know what I know, then you know what I know. That's just how it go. Something like to support the team, the dream. Public service announcement, t.me/anti-gravity saga. It's the Telegram. Tap in. It's for y'all. I'm talking AGP, anti-gravity, project I respect, staying true to the tech. We got the evil address and the pink Miss Will, got the dark matter token going up, I can tell.
Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Quattro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement. And I had an interesting experience today on Spaces. We find out who's running them. They're running them with several people. There's quite a few interesting spaces. It looks like our friend Proof of No Work Dev is launching a token. I think it was, or he's launching a token on a platform. We'll have to reach out to him and get him on the show and talk about what he's working on. He's got a pretty interesting brain. But no, I was on Spaces today, and they've got a picture of Tony Montana as their profile pic, and I was on there with Hex T Armstrong and some crazy lunatics walking in, and you know, it's crazy. The people that show up on Spaces and just start shouting is one of the most bizarre parts of Spaces. Shout out to Dark Matter, the original, rocking that gear today. We got Crypto Cat says good evening Crypto Cat. Crypto Cat said he was getting in some extra chapters yesterday. We can talk about that here, which is the title or the name of this stream, which is Narrative versus Utility. And for a long time the narrative was utility. Hex gave us the utility to monetize time and be paid for your commitments. Some of the tokens are related to DEXs that give us utility of trading, gambling. And then of course NFTs are they have their own world of stuff. Some of their utility has been laundering money for people that are not in the elite, that they can't afford a Banksy to launder money, so they can just print their own NFT and launder some cash. That's been some good utility. Scarcity is really kind of the only utility, but it's really more of a narrative of Bitcoin. And then we tried to put some utility of gambling, of competing to see who can keep their word the longest, game of chicken, if you will, to see who's going to make a bigger commitment. And but then we also realized that there's a lot to do with narrative, and right now everything's narrative. Most of the narrative is quick money, fast money gambling. Some of the narrative right now is PDI to $1. That's the strongest narrative that we have on Pulse Chain by far. by way farther than any of Richard Hart's narratives. The narrative of Richard Hart is that this billionaire is going to come in and pump his token again that we've been patiently and faithfully and loyally holding on to for 5 years, and that he's going to pump his other token that we've been hanging on to for about 5 years. So there's those narratives going on. And I don't know. I mean, XRP has its narrative that the banks are going to use it, which has been bullshit for 10 years. But it's a strong enough narrative, enough people are believing it and hoping in it, that price goes up sometimes. And then, of course, you got the narrative of something like Doge that has outperformed Bitcoin, if you look at it. And Doge was kind of like the finger to the crypto community and the whales, and saying, we don't care if this is a useless token that's printed into oblivion that our founder made while he was drunk and then disavowed and sold all of his stuff for basically a car or something like that back in the day. The Doge people didn't care. They had that crazy dog face, the meme, and that was their narrative. And it's been picked up and it's kind of ran its own cult, the cult of Doge. So yeah, everything in money is basically just a story. And I was on Spaces today trying to explain the jackpot and all the mechanics of our token. And a guy that had been paying attention and had been in V1 was very confused. He's like, I don't understand any of what you're talking about, and I'm trying. And he's in crypto. And I thought, oh man, if the guys that are trying to learn are having a hard time learning, then we're probably doing it wrong. We're probably packaging it wrong. We're probably explaining it wrong. We're probably focusing on the wrong narrative. We have someone fairly famous here in chat named Bitfinesse. Been a long time. I keep hearing Iran is accepting Pulse Chain for passage through the Strait of Hormuz, but no one wants to drop truth bombs because they're afraid of being called anti-Semitic. Probably just rumors. There you go. That's a great example of a narrative right there, is that they're accepting Pulse Chain for passage of the Strait of Hormuz. That's funny. I appreciate that. And it's really good to see you, man. I haven't seen you for a while. I used to jump on Spaces and catch your streams. Oh man, back in 2020. So it's been a while. It's good to see you, Bitfinesse. The thing that I realized is that it's going to be a lot easier to explain people the story of Rings of Dust than it's going to be to just explain why you should mint an NFT, right? Believe in yourselves in the house. What's up, Believe in Yourself? Good to see you, man. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. We got these explainer videos that Hex Glenn put up in our Telegram group that he said basically he was just feeding the chapter into AI, and AI was making these explainer videos. And I thought to myself, that's kind of cool. I mean, they're a little like cartoonish and a lot of anime, but they did a great job of visually expressing the story and kind of the beginning of the book. And so I think as we go through the book and turn the book into an audio book, the best thing to do at this point in the market where nothing's moving, everything's dead, to get the word out for Anti-Gravity Project is to it's to talk about the story. It's really just the story, just this sci-fi narrative. Something that people can really wrap their heads around and get interested and get into. And then that can lead them into the community and the token, and slowly they can find out piece by piece, line by line, what the token does. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is like, it's a lot easier to tell a story than to explain 5 complicated tokenomics stacked on each other. So I think that's really what I want to do and focus on right now as far as the streams and things go. Sure, we'll still do the updates. We'll still talk about the mints, the money, the bonuses, the jackpot, all that stuff, because you guys are here for that. But at the same time, after we get done with those or answering frequently asked questions from the community, I think it's all about the story, all about the story. So that's kind of where I want to head going forward, and that narrative, like I said, no one is pumping narrative as hard as your friend saw me. Like no one comes close. And the people that do put in time and are very intelligent and reading this crazy market well, they also acknowledge that Sami's narrative is very strong, and it's a lot more convincing to say P died to $1 than wait for Richard to stream, wait for Ethereum to pump, wait is a horrible narrative. I mean, it only lasts for 2 weeks, maybe 4, and then wait is people just leave. They take their ball and they go home. So that being said, let's jump through the updates as quickly as possible, and then, like I said, we'll the next stream is going to be really about story and art, because I think that's two things that make us truly unique in this space. And people have stopped looking at NFTs basically since WhatsApp finished, and only the people that are here in this tiny fight club cult that we're in understand what's going on with NFTs, understand what's capable. And you guys saw what we did with the NFTs in V1 over a year and a half. We took a circulating supply from around 11% down to 3%. And even though the market went to shit and we had one big dumper, it still fared better than almost all the other tokens on Pulse Chain. Like straight up, it did really good because of loyalty, belief, and narrative. So yeah, shout out to that. Let's see here. Let's jump through these. Let me share my screen really quickly. And I want to share my audio too in case we get a video we want to share here. Put that down there. Okay, so first thing we're going to do today is, like we always, check out Old Man Bitcoin. Old Man Bitcoin went up and down, it looks like. That doesn't make sense. It was 62,000, now it's 63. Or was it 64? Let's see here. Look at the 5-day. Yeah, we're up. Well, we're back up to this line. 63,400. So if you look at the maximum amount, which is nowhere close to the actual history of Bitcoin, and it's definitely not in log, but yeah, we're still down below the last, a new low, a lower low right there. And then of course Ethereum usually follows same way. It's worth 1669 today. Nice. And then let's check out the charts right here. Here's Darker and Neon. Ooh, Neon is having a nice rise right here. Look at this. Yeah, Neon is on a tear. Very nice tear. That's really nice. Let's see how much Dark is in that pair. 35-cent Dark right here. You can see the minting that goes down. Every time we mint, it dumps some more money into the EDI pool, which we'll check in a second. 35 cents there. Let's see, how's Pulse doing today? Pulse is up 3% today. Hex is up 3%. Lockstep. And let's check out Darker and Exterminator. It's got 19 bucks of liquidity, and it's trading at 35 cents. You've got Darker and Hex pair, which has $514 liquidity. That's interesting. $500 of Hex paired with Darker, and it has just been bought up to $39.60. So that's very interesting. A decent amount of liquidity there. Nice pump. And they got Darker PulseX. This one's trading at 39 cents. You can see that pump pull all that up. These are OGs that are slowly putting thousands of dollars into Darker, and trying not to blow out the liquidity or just feed the bots. And they're doing a hell of a job picking up what I would consider some very good deals on Darker. Actuator. Actuator is up about 3% today. Good to see that. And it's trading for 39 cents. Dr. Doge. Dr. Doge has $126 of liquidity. It was 200, but I think the market's lower than it was when we set that up. And that's at 37 cents. And then EDI and Darker, or sorry, this is PDI. PDI has 41 bucks of liquidity, and it's trading at 35 cents. So that one's on sale. If you guys want to buy that with PDI. The EDI pair, this one has, oh, that's EDI and PulseX. Sorry about that. That's not the one I'm looking for. Here it is. Darker and EDI is 39 cents, and it's got $659 of liquidity, where you can see the buys. Just, this is like, these are not big buys. These are 24 hours of volume. It's $44 of volume. So these buys are like $3, $4 right there. You know, crazy. $4, $5. These buys are the ones that are pumping it up pretty well. Here, let's see, in the last 24 hours is up 6%. That's absolutely beautiful. And the reason it's so beautiful is because we got about $2,000 of liquidity, and we've seen quite a few $1,000s go through EDI here. So the EDI pulls up to $3,400, $3,436. So there's been $3,436 of sell pressure on the Darker Matter token in a $2,000 liquidity available on a chain that nobody knows about, with very, very little liquidity, pretty much all, you know, put in by Richard Hart, and the price has not gone to absolute zero. I mean, I've been in crypto a long time, and I kind of understand that divergence, and I think it's really cool. I think it says a lot about the strength of this community. It's Fight Club. All right, so yeah, so we got that much in EDI. Let's see how much we have in the jackpot. Jackpot's in at 64,374 Darker. So crazy. 193 winners are going to be drawn on or around July 3rd, the end of the first round. We'll be counting down to that. Looks like we got 10 hours.
July 3rd, that's by your
Sorry,
birthday.
10 days and 15 hours till round one starts. What?
So July 3rd's almost by your birthday.
Yeah, that'll be my birthday present. We'll
Yay.
see the EDI pool open up and see those sacrificers getting paid.
So everybody for Max's birthday, make that EDI go up.
Yeah. 180-day pools at 57,000 Darker Matter, and no one's going to be in that pool for 190 days. So pool is going to grow. I wouldn't say exponentially because it's based off of minting, but yeah, that's crazy. And that one only pays out at 3.69% to all of the people in that pool, which I think are going to be most of the OGs are thinking, okay, I'm going to mint. I'm going to see if I got the jackpot. A lot of people, I think, are convinced that it might be worth sacrificing the jackpot rather than claiming. And then everyone's just, it's like a race to stake for 180 days. And we should actually add that to the website, like a portion of how much of the circulating supply is staked versus actually circulating. So yeah, that's something we definitely need to be putting together before the 180-day bonus. And then of course you got the 33-day stake that bumps you up 10x from the FOMO curve, from the treasury receiving, but it doesn't have the bonus pool of liquid Darker Matter every 11 days, potentially for as long as this thing runs. Yeah. Whew. All right, let's go here today, and I've been trying out the new ZK wallet based on Crypto Coffee's recommendation and some other people, and I'll play around with it some more. But for now, let's go to our Internet Money Wallet and let's mint 100 more fuel cells today to get us closer to an opportunity to hit the jackpot, right? So we'll connect here, and we've got 718. Let's go to mint fuel cells, put a couple zeros behind that one, mint 100 fuel cells, bump internet money up to high gas fee. It looks like the fees are really good right now. 431,000 beats is really been, that's cheaper than I've seen from the last week. Last week when we had the Mega Well minting almost 100,000 NFTs, the gas was 600 to 700 most of the time there. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, if we edit, high, save, confirm, and then we'll wait for the fireworks after this confirms on chain. And like I said, this will put us, there we go, boom, fireworks, congratulations, you minted 100 fuel cells. So let's go check out our fuel cells at Fuel Cell Farms. And if you go to Fuel Cell Farms, looks like that bumped us up to Navigator. We were an agent yesterday, and now we're a Navigator. So 1,032 more fuel cells to achieve Admiral. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to hit Admiral in this account. But as you can see, here's the FOMO curve we were talking about earlier, which is like very little Darker is going to be paid out for the first season or the first 22 rounds, which will be about 8 months. And then if the bull market hasn't hit yet, we jump into season 2, where about 250,000 Darker are going to be paid out. That's when I think most NFTs may end up receiving their initial Darker matter back, or their initial, investment back. But this is saying right now that the 400 fuel cells I have should be worth 440 after season 1. So looks like I might be made whole just in season 1 at this point, depending on how many more people mint. And then season 2, it says 477, and season 3 says 511. So 511 from 400 in about 2 years. That's a pretty good return on tokens. My round yield share is 0.28%. So this percentage, once the round starts and minting is locked in, this can only go up because people can sacrifice and they can deplete. And every time someone leaves, every time someone smashes open their pinata to get the candy out, or sends the pinata into the void for Edai, that's going to go up. So I'm going to be competing with less people for that. And then if I stake, which I definitely plan on staking these, then my yield will also bump up. We'll watch that. Right now we have 0% staked, as you can see, and I'm a Navigator inside this round, and I'm also a Navigator inside the game, because right now that's how those both work out. And here's our 400 fuel cells waiting for round 1. We're going to try to get that up to 1,000, so we can win 1 or 2 of the jackpots and do a sacrifice, and then try out the Edai pool. So that's basically where we're at right there. Let's take a look at the tokens right now. Oh, well, the supply is actually on the website. If you just click supply up here, the circulating supply is still 18.1. It's been that for a while. But that actually doesn't make sense, because I can't deplete my fuel cells. And I guess this isn't actually accurate, because a bunch of these, let's see how many of these, 139,000, 143,000 fuel cells or Darker have been minted into fuel cells, which means that we actually have 143 fewer Darker on the matter than what we're reading. So let me send a little love note to AG Project right here and say, hey, on the supply graphic on the website, it's showing that there's 18.1% in circulating supply. However, 143,154 darker matter have been minted into fuel cells. So those are no longer in the circulating supply. So we need to add another line item of total minted. And then after round one, we're going to have to add a line item and a piece of that graph that is minted and staked. There we go. So applause on that. Probably won't get it right. First time usually doesn't. But yeah, like this person is gone. This person is insane. Whoever ends in F856B58, you have outminted the Pink Mist Well. You've outminted. Wow, like you are a strong number two, 15,000. I would imagine that they have plans for their fuel cells. What do you guys think? Other than that, I think shout out again to Emit Farms. We should be seeing a farm any day created on Emit Farms with the new Darker token. I know I've got some Emit sitting there ready to be farmed out with some Darker. So that'll be cool. Vouch, Zero Knowledge, Pulsicon, Rhino-Fi, Ink Printer. Yeah, the Dark's not here. I believe we'll see a announcement there once that goes live from Emit, and then you guys can, you know, farm Emit tokens with your Darker that you're not using right now to mint. So that's one reason to get more Darker, more liquid Darker. And shout out to Nexion, really cool ecosystem. What was that token at today? The Nexion tokens at, oh, we should also look for some new pairs, see if there's any new pairs here. In fact, there might be a pair with Emit getting ready for the farm. But yeah, here's Darker and Neon. Neon's up, it says 1.77%, but it's up a lot higher over the last while than that. Like this is a good bounce right here. Let's just measure it. Yeah, this is up 11% in 15-minute bars. So a couple days, 11%. That's amazing. Congratulations. And those guys have tax, lending, a prediction market, auction, and vaults. So you can actually collateralize your tokens here and get a loan on it and put that loan to work. That's a very cool site. Shout out to the team and the Telegram, those guys. Shout out to Dr. Doge doing science, saving humanity, and just kicking ass, taking names, and also gifting other tokens to the community for folding proteins and helping medical research. Other than that, that's it. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to look for any new pairs that have been created. Take that. We'll go up here to search. Here we go. So we do have a new pair, but this is the V3 pair, and it actually has 23 cents of liquidity. So we're going to ignore that one for now. We got the other one set up. We got PTGC pair here, the Grays currency. We didn't check that price. Let's check the price of the Grays currency and Darker. So PTGC is making a defiant bounce off of this red candle on the 15 minute. Wow, yeah, so this pair hasn't been around for a while. So this is hard to tell how PTGC is doing. But Darker is 35 cents over there too. So it looks like there's a lot of places you can buy at 35 cents right now. Not bad. Let's take a look here. We've got Hex T Armstrong, Darker Matter Space Cult. Love it. Then he put this out earlier with Beastie Boys. Yeah, I love that. And now here are the explainer videos right here that Hexglen did with, he said he used Google Notebook LM and just gave it the TTS file for chapter 1. Didn't have to do much to get these videos, and they're not bad. Like they're really good, like considering the fact of what went into this, which is the writing and some AI.
Listen, imagine being completely stranded in the absolute freezing vacuum of space. You're just floating there, helplessly watching the ship that was your entire home and literally everyone you know atomized into stardust in a fraction of a second. Today's explainer unravels the terrifying, incredibly high-stakes mystery of the Polaris disaster.
369. That is the exact number of souls, we're talking crewmates, friends, highly trained specialists, who just vanished in an instant, completely vaporized. They were just folded into the rings of Saturn without a single trace. So what on Earth, or rather, what in the solar system, could wipe out the starship Polaris that fast? Okay, let's dive into this, because to understand
You
what
guys have heard
caused such
this
a
chapter
rapid
several
and
times,
totally
but
Sharp metallic taste right under Cole's tongue. I mean, just imagine the primal fear of standing in front of something that is completely silently steadying you right back. And here's the crazy part. This anomaly wasn't just sitting quietly in its containment field. It was actively breaking down the crew's sanity. Great to work. And his co-pilot, get this. His co-pilot is BitBoy. BitBoy is a chimpanzee outfitted with 6 biomechanical limbs. He uses 2 limbs for the flight stick, 2 for the thrusters, and 2 braced against the bulkhead just for leverage.
yeah, it kind of goes into very literal reading of specific parts. So it's interesting what AI chooses and what it doesn't choose. But going back to narrative, these are some strong and very interesting takes and uses to get the message out and to grow our community and take advantage of Metcalfe's law to raise price by growing the community.
Brings us to the absolutely terrifying reality of this situation. The Falcon, this tiny, incredibly fragile little shuttle that just risked absolutely everything to pull him out of the void, is currently packed full of the exact same highly volatile, telepathic substance that just moments ago vaporized a massive starship in the blink of an eye.
So we are left with a seriously chilling scenario here. Cole has to watch from the viewport as the shattered remnants of his own ship and his 369 crewmates slowly join the icy rings of Saturn. But the nightmare isn't over. Actually, the nightmare is strapped down right there in the room with him. With 369 souls gone, can Cole possibly survive a second ride with a sentient anomaly that knows exactly where he is? That is the terrifying question this explainer leaves us to ponder. Thank you so much for joining.
So crazy that it like did this whole thing and it doesn't have the context of the future chapters to kind of like tie in, but it's a really interesting medium right there, to say the least. Other than that, let me come back here and chat. I suddenly thought of Farscape. Nice. All right, like I said, you guys are awesome. You guys are the best. Everywhere I go, I just brag about you guys as being just loyal, awesome people. And I think that this shift or this pivot to the storyline and the narrative is a much easier way to keep people's attention and to get them interested in the project without trying to explain a lot of the complicated math that was done and coded for this project. Because it is like a lot of people, the thing that most people know about Darker Matter Anti-Gravity Project, the thing I hear more than anything else is, man, that's confusing. Man, isn't that one really hard to understand? It's like, I guess it is. I'm working every day on making it easier to understand and share, and we're going to get there one way or another. Oh, look, it says it's adding... Yeah, it's adding those supply things to the metric. So actually, this is interesting. Mint split, yeah. Team parlay, but 9. So circulating supply of 414,427 is 18.6%. That already excludes the minted 143,000. That number is the free dark still sitting in, while it's not counting anything that's been minted. The minted darker is already shown spread across jackpot, bonus, e-die, and team. Okay, so that explains it. That is accurate. What I can do accurately, add a minted into fuel cells, 12.9% stat line on the bottom, but if they add it, it'll be over 100%. So it's kind of, yeah, we can do another, well, yeah, I think so. Yeah, minted into fuel cells does show up, but maybe we'll do a separate, we'll probably just do a separate one that shows amount of minting versus liquid. That's pretty cool. And we'll show that update on the next one. Yeah, we'll just keep working on infographics, stories, explainer videos, animations, AI art, regular art, songs, real songs, AI songs, and just kind of go from there. So again, shout out to the Finesse. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you believe in yourself. Good to see you, Crypto Cat. Yeah, so good to see you guys. Remember that you guys matter. What you do matters. You have an incredible amount of value baked into your being. And we'll catch you on the next one. This is a kind of a chill, what's it called? I forget the name of it, but it's just a chill, laid back version, a little rap that completely explains the tokenomics of the void. And every time I hear it, it kind of grows on me. So enjoy this video and song from Cape Fear, and we'll catch you on the next one. We'll go over, I did get some good frequently asked questions. We'll go over on the next one. And again, we're just going to pop through the updates and numbers and see how things are going and watch the countdown. And then we'll just switch to story. And then while I'm on spaces with other people, or I'm reaching out to other people, or if I go on other streams, I'm going to be talking about the story, because the story is something everyone can understand. Everyone can understand disaster like the Polaris blowing up and get tied into that, and that can keep their attention a lot easier than explaining why it's what matter. A fixed supply versus a minted supply or inflationary supply. You know, that's the tokenomics and game theory behind all of the different incentives that we've baked into this. It's a lot for crypto bros to take in. So we want to make this as accessible for everyday people as possible, and bring in just a ton of people when they start chasing those green god candles that so a lot of you guys haven't experienced the god candles, but I remember the god candles, and those were euphoric days. It wasn't a dopamine hit, it was a euphoric ecstasy that we are going through every day, just watching that number go crazy. And that's why we believe, that's why we're here on Pulse Chain, building and working. We're just still grinding, doing our best. All right, love you guys. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.
Pops up, the neon starts to glow. Lowercase connection, entering the show. Top right corner where the wallet interacts. Digital contract, tracking down the facts. The ticker symbols blinking on the sidebar screen. The dark is the atmosphere setting the scene. Round one is coming, the seasons on the clock. Secure the network, time to lock it in the block. Welcome to the darker matter. Standard rules apply. Load the fuel cells up before the timer passes by. Into the void we will go, where the smart ones play. Minting out the future, trading through the shadows. Watch the ticker climb. Feel the data stream. Living on the edge of the cyber grid machine.
Sacrifices waiting at the gate, calculating yields while we wait upon the day. Claim the EDOT payouts, tally up the wins. This is where the high stakes strategy begins. They say it's for the smart ones, written on the wall. A gamified ecosystem standing tall. Read the how to play if you wanna know the way. Before you launch the app or end in disarray. Ticks on the countdown, now it's turned to days. The price of darker matter, moving through the haze. Is it an illusion? Is it by design? Watch the smart contract as it aligns. 3, 2, 1. Let the protocol run. Welcome to the darker matter. Standard rules apply. Load the fuel cells up before the timer passes by. Into the void, here we go, where the smart ones play. Minting out the future, trade into the shadows. Watch the ticker climb. Feel the data stream. Living on the edge of the cyber grid machine.